You just opened your phone to check the time. That's it, just the time. But somehow, 45 minutes later, you're watching a guy pressure wash a driveway, and you have absolutely no idea how you got here. Sound familiar? You aren't weak-willed, and your phone isn't magic. What's actually happening is that one of the most sophisticated psychological machines ever built is playing your brain like a piano. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how the algorithm learns your cravings and uses them against you. And trust me, once you see it, you can never unsee it. Stick with me, because to understand why your feed is so addictive, we need to talk about the digital slot machine. You know how a slot machine works, right? You pull the lever and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. That unpredictability is exactly what makes it impossible to walk away. Your brain has a reward system, and here's the twist. It doesn't fire the most dopamine when you get what you want. It fires the most when you might get what you want. Scientists call this a variable reward schedule, and it is, without exaggeration, one of the most powerful behavioral hooks ever discovered. Every time you scroll, your brain is pulling a tiny lever. Boring post, boring post, boring post, and then bam! A video that makes you laugh so hard you forget your own name. That one hit of gold buried in the gravel is what keeps you digging. But get this, the algorithm isn't randomly placing that gold. It's learning exactly where to put it, so you never stop shoveling. Here's where it gets wild. The algorithm doesn't just know what you like. It knows what you almost like, what you used to like, and what you're about to like. Every pause, every rewatch, every half second you spend hovering over a thumbnail is data. Think of the algorithm like a waiter who doesn't need a menu. It watches your eyes, notices you glanced at the pasta, saw you hesitate on the steak, and before you've said a word, it brings you a pasta dish with a steak drizzle you didn't even know existed. And get this, it does this 1,000 times a day. It's building a psychological profile of you that is, in some ways, more detailed than what your best friend could describe. It doesn't care about your name. It cares about your patterns. And patterns, my friend, are the skeleton key to your attention. But wait, here is where the brain science gets a bit terrifying. When the algorithm feeds you content that hits just right, your brain releases dopamine. Not a lot, just a tiny splash. Enough to say, that felt good, let's find more. But here's the trap. Dopamine isn't actually the pleasure chemical like everyone thinks. It's the wanting chemical. It doesn't make you feel satisfied, it makes you feel hungry. So each perfect video doesn't fill you up, it makes you crave the next one. It's like eating a chip that's specifically designed to make you hungrier with every bite. The algorithm figured out that it doesn't need to make you happy, it just needs to make you want. And wanting, it turns out, is a bottomless well. Stick with me here, because this next part explains why you feel so drained after a scrolling session, even though you technically did nothing. Your brain has a limited amount of decision-making energy each day. Scientists call it cognitive bandwidth. Every time the algorithm presents you with something new, a thumbnail, a headline, a 3-second hook, your brain has to make a micro-decision: watch or skip. That sounds tiny, but multiply it by hundreds of times in a single session, and your brain is running a marathon while you're lying on the couch. And get this is by design. The algorithm doesn't want you to consciously choose. It wants to exhaust your ability to choose, so you default to passive consumption. When your decision-making muscle is tired, you stop scrolling with purpose and start scrolling on autopilot. That's the sweet spot for the algorithm. A zombie with a thumb is its ideal user. But hold on, because there's one more layer almost nobody talks about. The algorithm doesn't just feed your interests, it starts to shape your identity. When it shows you the same category of content over and over, your brain begins to think, I guess this is who I am. The person who watches fitness content starts seeing themselves as a fitness person. The person drowning in doom-scrolling news starts believing the world is ending. Here's the kicker. The algorithm doesn't care if the identity it builds for you is accurate or healthy. It only cares if it keeps you watching. It will happily push you deeper into anxiety, outrage, or comparison if those emotions keep your thumb moving. It's not evil, it's just optimized for one thing: your time. And your time, to the algorithm, is currency. So, what do you do with all of this? First, just knowing the game changes the game. The algorithm is powerful, but it has one weakness: a conscious user. When you catch yourself in that trance, that's your wise planner tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Hey, the slot machine got us again." Don't beat yourself up. That only feeds the loop. Instead, give yourself what the algorithm never will: a stopping point. Set a timer, curate your feed like a garden instead of a junkyard, and remember that every app on your phone was engineered by a team of people whose entire job is to make sure you don't put it down. You aren't addicted because you're broken. You're addicted because some of the smartest engineers on the planet built a machine that's perfectly tuned to your brain's deepest wiring. Understanding that is your superpower. The algorithm knows your patterns, but now you know its patterns too. And that, my friend, makes all the difference. If you enjoyed our little deep dive, it would mean the world to me if you'd subscribe. It's like a digital high five for all my research. And don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. While I go brew some tea, why not peek at these other videos? I put a lot of love into them. Stay curious, my friend. I'll see you in the next episode.